This is what happens when you just go ahead and start things.
Sorry, I was tidying up the kitchen.
Now it is Twin Tarot. Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm David.
I'm Gary.
And Gary is the super absorbent twin, and I'm just the leading single fly.
Single fly.
Anyway, in the reading we just completed, which will be uploaded on Sunday, May 25th, we are looking at the budget bill and will the Senate pass it, including clauses that allow Donald Trump to not be held civilly accountable for ignoring the courts.
Yeah.
And ending the reading with, what is it that's going to break the psyche of people here? Because normally to unite people, you have to have some massive tragedy. And we talked about what happened on September 11th as an example of a tragedy that made people stop political bickering and actually start working for the betterment of a country, which is a rather extreme thing to have happen.
Yeah.
But Gary's like, that might actually be a good reading. And I think I've tried to do readings on this before, but I don't know if I actually ever get what happens with it.
Yeah, this might not go anywhere.
But Gary also wanted to do it where we alternate cards.
Yes.
And just free form it, kind of like we were doing the other day when we were being silly talking about supporting the channel, or else we'll go broke. And they'll sell our kids off to labor camps.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those. The last reading we did was a little bit of a Debbie Downer. So this one, we're trying to go for a little more uplift on this and just try something different. And it may work. It may fall completely flat on its face.
Yeah, nothing more uplifting than trying to figure out what type of massive tragedy will have to befall this world in order for us to unite as a species. Yeah,
it might be a fun tragedy, though.
Okay.
Maybe this giant vat of chocolate pudding will drop from the sky and we'll have to eat our way to freedom.
For those who like pudding.
Yes. See, those who don't like pudding
don't like the taste of it.
On the bottom. Yeah, you never know. So it's
I'll let you lead with this, since you're the super absorbent twin and I'm just the modest single ply here.
Yes, you have to double over David, otherwise bad things might happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're gonna have to just stay with the split screen here.
Okay. Well,
you want to just flash cards up at the. Yeah, we'll just flash cards. Okay, so I got my decks shuffled. Okay, so what's it going to take? What sort of event is going to happen where finally this great chasm and divide will start coming to an end? Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm starting with the Five of Pentacles. Apparently,
that's at least the right card. Honestly, that's the right card.
Yeah. It'll be a big storm, a big snowstorm. I suspect what this may be is the wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots becomes unbearable for the have-nots anymore. Think French Revolution.
Basically crash the world economy, make everybody poor, and eventually they get disgruntled with it. And what's going to happen? Now they've got a choice they need to make.
Okay. One choice could be, let's continue this MAGA nonsense and we'll stare at the fish in our cup and still believe that everything is going according to plan and Trump is the most successful leader ever.
On the other hand is, you can keep believing the propaganda, or you can actually go out and do something about it.
And if you go and do something about it, it'll start moving us away from these choppy waters and moving us to a calmer shore.
It's a heartbreaking betrayal. Basically, as you move away from there, you understand that the people that you've been trusting have been lying to you the whole time. They've been enriching themselves.
And at this point, you're just really sad that you've been lied to and that you've been misled. But there are opportunities. We just need to, once we get over our grieving, we can start embracing the opportunities that we have.
You're recognizing the theft, what's been taken away from you, your money, your rights, your privileges.
And it's time to defend. Seven of Wands. Defend what you've got. Stand your ground. Don't let them take away anymore.
Right. And then, this is also will lead to people needing kitchen table issues, simplifying, going back to basics and figuring out, I don't need a new iPhone every other year. I don't need the fanciest of everything. Now we have to sort of knuckle down and take care of ourselves in the basics.
Yeah. It just take a new perspective on things. Start valuing the things that you really should value. Right. It's about love. It's about relationships. It's not about being the wealthiest person on the planet.
It's kind of like, as Gary has that card, the anti-Kardashian card, if you will.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard times. It's going to be hard times for everyone in order to push through this.
But once you get through the hard times, we will all start to enjoy some of the fruits of our labor and the good stuff.
Young people with fresh ideas are going to come in.
And the nightmare that we're going through.
And these are going to be kind of thoughtful ideas that put to rest the old energy and bring forward. This is a card of meditation. It's also, really thinking through and bringing forward the stuff that's been lying dormant for a while.
Yeah. And then rising up and being counted, this is the judgment card. Basically letting your opinion be known, that what's right, what's wrong, what should be valued, what shouldn't, and being on the right side of history.
Okay. And looking at things in a new perspective.
And we'll start building meaningful relationships.
Yeah. Working together, cooperating, where we weren't doing it before. Now both sides come together to actually build something worth that you can build a solid base, a solid platform with which to build upon.
And there will be some that won't be able to see that path forward. But if we take off the blindfold, that path will become clear.
So everybody's always a victim. And for those people, you got to treat them like the children that they are. Make it safe, make it okay, reassure them everything's going to be fine. Remember, the people that Gary were showing, they live in fear. The strongest emotion they have isn't love, it's fear. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to make things easier on them. You got to quell that fear and let them know everything's going to be okay.
And let them, that it's all about messaging. Getting rid of the fear messaging and getting into more of the uplifting and supportive messaging.
And then after you've told them what you want to do, you go forward and do it. But you have to do it in a way that's slow enough to not totally leave them in the dust, because they just can't adapt quickly. It's not in their DNA.
And if you move slowly enough,
oh God,
they'll start adapting more quickly.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the clue to end it right there, is when we both get the same card.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, it doesn't tell us exactly what they're going to do. It's just how the process is going to work. Yeah. But it looks like, so they want to crash the global economy and stuff like that. Maybe that's exactly what it takes to have your French Revolution moment. And I've commented about this multiple times. When the former CEO of United Healthcare was murdered on the streets, the comments were not the comments in like the TikTok videos I watched. They were not in support of the United Healthcare man who was murdered. It was, generally speaking, it's kind of like the people have been screwed in their healthcare for a long time. And it's like they're really tired of wealthy people, screwing them out of stuff. And, there wasn't a whole lot of sympathy for a guy being murdered on the street. Now look what's happening with this Republican budget. What's the one big thing they're cutting on this? People's healthcare.
Yep.
So
they can keep tax cuts for corporations and wealthy people.
Yeah. Did you not learn the lesson of what just happened in New York? What happened in New York was people are tired of really wealthy people and wealthy corporations screwing them out of their health care. And this whole budget bill coming through is let's give wealthy people a tax break and we're going to screw you out of your health care. See a theme?
Yes, indeed. So I wonder if is that the traumatic event that happens where people finally wake up?
Yeah, and remember, coins are about health, wealth, and values. So people being kicked off of healthcare, people having their money removed from them. No tax on tips with lots of qualifications is great and everything, but that tax on tips isn't going to make their healthcare payments that or the cost of their healthcare that they need to pay for.
Yeah, it's the CEO salaries. I saw something. I think it was on Blue Sky. God damn it!
CEOs used to make like 5 times the employee. Now they make 50, something like that.
It was something along the lines that, and my phone is acting up right now. It's not my phone is acting up. I'm just being incapable of.
Here, let me pause it for you.
All right, so we found the article. So there was an article that was saying that CEO pay has skyrocketed 1,300% since 1978. And one of the things they measured was the CEO compensation relative to the worker compensation. And I just lost the trend there. Oh, for the love of God and all things holy. You might want to pause.
I can pause again if you like.
Pause me again.
There is not good TV.
It is not good TV. All right.
10 years later.
This is what happens when you don't take notes, right? So one of the things they measured was changes in the CEO to worker compensation ratio. So back in 1965, when some people were born, the CEO total compensation was about 21-1. So if you were making $10,000 a year in 1965, the CEO was making 21 times that, right? So 210,000 a year. That ratio has gone from 21-1, and right now it's about 351-1. And so there's this growing disparity between the have and have-nots, certainly in the working world. And what Dave and I were discussing was, is the budget, this budget kind of the thing that is the straw that breaks the camel's back?
Because clearly, you make 10 times the ratio you did before. Clearly, you need a tax break.
Yes, exactly.
How are you going to make it to 50 times that ratio at this rate?
Yeah, and Warren Buffett had this great saying, which he's really trying to promote philanthropic giving by billionaires. And his goal is to show a billionaire how to live on 500 million. How can you teach them to survive on 500 million versus a billion?
Yeah, God.
Okay, so let's take a quick look. Is the budget basically? This budget, is this going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? Entertainment, lonely. There you go. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah,
Foundation is the devil. Hey, this is what you want to hook yourself up to. This is about making America great. Might just do a little 4-carder on this. You got to fight for your rights. You got to fight your way out of this. You have a choice. You have a choice. You can either value money or you can value your legacy. There's more to life, but there are a lot of folks out there that have have a lot of wealth, and it's not being passed along. It's not being shared and distributed, and it's not getting to the workers who are actually putting in a lot of the effort. I'm kind of getting the feeling that this may be what it takes.
Yeah.
Is really realizing how bad your leadership has screwed you.
And going back to that, the card flipping, I had the Queen of Coins come up on that one. Going back to basics and things along those lines.
Yeah.
Stuff like this it's gonna kill the economy. It just will. And at that point, a lot of the luxury items that keeping up with the Joneses type stuff, you're gonna walk away from the Kardashian lifestyle and go back to being a lot more simple and taking care of people you love. Michelle's often thrown to me that there's studies showing that people who have little are much more generous with their resources than people who have a lot. So people who are poor, they tend to share more and be more generous with their resources with their friends who are also poor than people who have wealth. And it gets kind of a all hands on deck type of approach. The other thing I would throw out there, and this is just word of warning, word of caution. If you want to go French Revolution, if you want to go to France pre-revolution, you go right ahead and go there. You can have all the wealth in the world, but guess what? When people are hungry, they're not going to steal from each other. That big mansion on the hill, that's where all the food is.
Yeah.
That's where all the money is. So when, thousands of peasants come up with their torches and pitchforks, they're not going to start stealing from each other. Why steal from people who got nothing? They're going to come for the gated communities and places like that, because that's where all the money is.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple thousand billionaires and there's 300 million non-billionaires out there.
There's going to be a lot of anger and resentment.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what the modern day guillotine is going to be, but that I was watching a TED talk with some guy who wasn't a billionaire, but I'm sure he had $500 million with which to survive on. And that was his point. It's just like, you can't keep doing this, because they will eventually come for you. And they'll come for me, and I don't want that. How to survive on $500 million. You have everything you want and nothing you don't want in life. And, if you're worth 50 billion, 49, you don't need 49.5 of that billion. You can live quite comfortably on the 500 million that's left over. Mackenzie Scott, Linda Gates are leading examples of generosity and philanthropy with the wealth that they've inherited post-divorce. And Bill Gates, I think, even finally got on board with getting rid of all his wealth after he passes. Like, the Gates Foundation, they think they've got 10 years, something like that, after he passes, to give away all the money and then be done. So, so as anxiety inducing as this budget is, and then you hear the floaty, airy intuitives out there saying, it'll all work out, it'll all be better. They're probably right, but it's just kind of this is not how I want things to be better. I don't see the reason to load TNT and blow everything to smithereens and have everybody be destitute in order to bring everybody together. Seems kind of unnecessarily destructive.
Indeed.
on people's parts, but nobody asked me. Nobody's implementing my plan. Yeah, they should have, but they don't. I'm only single ply, What do I know?
Ah, yes.
Okay, so we conclude the reading like this. Yeah, things look like they're going to suck. There's not much we can do about it. It'll all work out in the end, and that just seems like, cold comfort.
Cold comfort, doesn't it?
my apologies. It's not how I would do it, and I often grump about this.
He does.
Yeah, a lot. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell. We'll wake you up every night at midnight Pacific time with a new video. Leave a comment. I read them all and respond to many.
Did you just advocate for domestic violence against Belle of the Ranch?
I did not.
You said hit the bell.
Oh.
How dare you?
Activate the bell.
That sounds so much better.
And unlike other Twin Tarot channels, our Twin Tarot channel is super absorbent and it's very super windy in the Torja Slam. And I just want to do a little demonstration about our channel. So here is the ubiquitous blue liquid. And
how do we know that's blue liquid? Is that staining your tabletop?
I hope not. On this side, we've got super absorbent Twin Tarot. And look at it absorb that blue liquid. Oh my goodness, this is so
normally you don't have to press it on there.
Look at that. Cleans it up. And here's the leading bargain brand tarot. Look at how it just doesn't absorb. It doesn't
seem very absorbent at all.
Oh my God, it just makes a mess. So we recommend strongly that you stick with Twin Tarot with Gary and David, accept no substitutes. And we'd like to give a couple of shout outs. First, shout out to my wife, who's
Laura's not home, is she?
Shout out to Laura for not yelling at me for messing up.
Yeah, is she taking a nap right now?
She's probably resting. She was out painting Adirondack chairs all day.
Yeah, good thing she's napping.
How about a shout out to Hope Rambo, who has just recently started commenting on our channel. Hi,
well,
Hope.
There you go. New ideas coming in.
Yes. And okay, here we go. How about Kyle D. Atkinson? Hi, Kyle. Ooh.
Kyle likes the blue liquid.
I like the fact that Kyle put his middle initial in there.
I think so Kyle's a bartender.
And then and then Barry Morgan, whose birthday is on June the 10th. And he'd love to have a once-in-a-lifetime birthday present, which is related to our June
military
10th.
Parade?
No, that's the 14th. June 10th was Trump's very bad day.
Oh, okay.
So he'd like that as a nice present.
Coming true.
And then for the rest of us, here's an interesting secret card. The 10 of Swords. Hopefully this will all come to an end soon. And if I don't get this table cleaned up, I might be living the 10 of Swords
before the super absorbent wooden tabletop absorbs.
Exactly. So thank you all so much for watching. We truly appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Take care. We'll catch you on the next video.
Bye.